Hi, I'm GNT.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're going to go over combinations using the side kick. We'll focus on staying on the centre line with our opponent moving forwards back, and also then go in diagonally either side, forwards and backwards. Just try and remember when we're going through these combinations, we are thinking a little bit about the first counter, but we're not thinking of the counter of the counter of the counter, so to speak, because that would be a long video, and also every counter has a counter, so we'd end up contradicting every little kick and technique that we put in. So just bear that in mind when we go through the combinations, but there's a lot of good ones in here, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, so the first combinations we're going to go through is covering the side kick down the actual centre line. So this means now our attacker, our opponent, is going to be on that line, and they're not going to move off the line. They're not going to go to the left, right, they're not going to diagonally step. They're going to stay on that line. So the first one's them just going to be moving back. This could be someone hesitant, scared of your legs. It could just be someone trying to suss you out and counter you. Okay, so a nice combination that I like to do for this, as I lift my leg and shift in with a side kick. Let's say he moves back because he's hesitant or he's weary, then I can slide in with a second side kick. So what we do is we go 1, 2. Okay, now as you can see, with that, I'm hitting him in the arm at the moment. It might be a bit of a tactic to actually destroy his arm. Yeah, and also keep his arms down, ready for when I do it next time. I could change it to a hook kick or roundhouse because his head's open, or go in with a blitz. But if I can as well, what I could also do is try and creep under or hit him in the hip and destroy his leg. Okay, sounds a bit nasty, but that's a little bit of a tactic that a lot of people do if someone's got very good legs as well. So if I'm going in with a side kick now and he shifts back a little bit, I could target just underneath it, or as you can see then, see how I push down on his hip? Just to crumble him in slightly, which also helps me advance in if I want to go in with a blitz. Okay, so that's more attacking. There's another one I like to do as well. The double pump is normally my go-to because it's quite safe. But the other one I like to do, if we've got a little bit more distance, I tend to go into my spinning kicks. So if I go and lift with a side kick and he shifts back now, what I can do is keep the centre line, boom, and go straight for the back kick. If it's a little bit further distance, we can go more for the spinning side kick or even the hook kick. It's got to be a bit more weary with those, because if he moves back and then he moves forwards, then obviously he can counter me. So you just got to be a bit more weary if you choose the spinning side kick and spinning hook kick. The back kick is normally the go-to for me, but yeah, I've got quite a fast spin hook kick, so I do utilise that a lot too. Okay, so if you're good and quick with your legs, that spin hook kick's a great option. So that's with him moving more back. Let's say now he's very confident and he decides to move in, or he does a paint step. Okay, so first one, if he just moves in, let's say he just moves in straight away and he jams my kick. Okay, now normally what we do is we end up getting into like a little kind of punch up by here, okay? But let's say we're a little tiny bit smart. As he comes in for the punches now, I'm gonna go underneath with that back kick, okay? So just like we did with attacking, we can use that back kick as our counter moving backwards as well. Some people like to do it as a jump as well. That's completely up to you. It depends obviously on your skill level as well. But yeah, the back kick's a nice go-to, okay? So just again, if I lift and he comes in, he jams me, he's gonna come probably in with his hands then thinking he's got me, or maybe even maybe going just about to set up a kick, and I plant that back kick out before he has a chance to, hopefully, all right? So that's a nice one. Let's say he does the paint step. This also works for the paints now. So if I went for the side kick and he goes 8, but then he paints his back in. So he goes 1, and then he goes to come in. I've got that back kick ready for him as well, okay? So there's a couple of combinations and variations of the combinations on that centre line. Right, so the next one we're going to cover is him moving off his centre line. Now this is what a lot of skilled fighters will do. They won't want to stay on that line because obviously you'll know where they are and you'll be able to do a combination on them. Okay, so what a lot of people will do, especially more of the beginners when they first learn to get off the centre line, they'll move to your outside because it's a little bit safer. Because if you move this way, you obviously got that rear hand, which can be very strong, and you've got the rear roundhouse kick as well. So a lot of people don't like to go inside because they'll walk into your power techniques. So they move to the outside and they think it's safer. Yeah, well, we're going to obviously change that. Okay, so when we're going now, we're going to start off with our side kicks. All these are starting off with our nice side kick because it's our alignment. And as we go in for a side kick, you can move diagonally backwards this way just for a moment. We can do advancing, which we'll explain in a moment, but this is the more of the go-to and what people tend to do when I'm doing the side kick. They'll move diagonally back. So if as I go to make a side kick, I just lift up and I go for more of a hook kick or a hacks kick. Okay. Now a hacks kick is a mix between a hook kick and an axe kick. So it's more like a diagonal downward kick, if you want to call it that. It's called loads of different things, but hopefully that kind of clears it up for you, okay? So as I'm going in for the side kick, I lift, boom, and I can come straight over, and then obviously you're going to hit them in the head. I'm not going to hit him in the head because he's got the visor, and I don't want to hit him in the head and knock his visor off, okay? So he's moving back diagonally, I go in one, and then I can get the hook kick or the axe kick, depending obviously on his position as well. All right, so that's another go-to. And also the good thing about that, most people will adopt the Philly shell. So this side of the head is normally open, and they'll be worried about the roundhouse coming up and catching them here. This is the one I catch a lot of people with. It's just the one they don't cover and can't protect that easily. Even if you tuck your chin down, you can still get the top. And with the angle of the axe kick, can lift over the shoulder and still cut in and get them. Yeah, so it's a nice option. That's why a lot of people use the hybrid version of the axe kick rather than the hook kick. Because if I use the hook kick, if he moves across, let's just do the hook kick on its own, but he brings his chin down slightly, look, it's actually going to be very hard to catch him now. You can clip his shoulder and then brush off the top. Yeah, if I do the downward kick as well, he could very easily bob and weave it. Yeah, but if I do a axe kick, it's very difficult. If he chooses the bob and weave, I can still get him. And if he obviously thinks it's more of a hook kick and lifts the shoulder, I can lift over his shoulder and get that angle to still hit him. Okay. After these as well, depending on obviously the position, hopefully you've compromised them, you could add some combinations in afterwards whilst you go to what feels good from throwing from your axe kick. Could just be your rear hand, moving out with a roundhouse. Loads of different options. You pick that bit, okay? This is kind of the bit to set you up and help you. Now let's say he advances forwards diagonally, okay? So he could jam my side kick a little bit, but he's moving off this side. Okay, now, it's a very nasty position to be in actually, and a lot of people get blitzed in this position. Okay, what we're going to try and do is we're going to move this way. Now if we're jammed, it's going to be very difficult for him to throw a roundhouse kick this way. The only thing we've got to be very weary of is any spinning techniques, a spin back fist, a spin hook kick. If we're obviously doing different rules, obviously you've got to spin elbows, so you've got to be very weary of those. But all we're going to do is we're going to move forwards and get him with the back fist. Okay, it looks very simple. And it's the same motion as the hook kick, yeah? If you think of it like that. So he's moving here. He's obviously going to try and punch me straight now. Boom. I just try and get out of the way here. Let's say, as I was about to throw that, you could see me initiating this. So he was thinking, okay, I'll set up my spin kick. As he goes to do that, I would try and move the other side and obviously then go into a blitz and catch him with that, okay? So there's a little couple of options if they move into your outside of your side kick. Okay, so the last one we're going to cover is move into the inside of the side kick now. Now we told you the problems that can occur if you are moving that way, but if someone's very experienced, they'll use that against you and they will go that side to draw your techniques maybe from the rear and then counter that as well. So it is an option a lot of seniors will choose. Yeah, we don't want to just be going the one way all the time as well if we're fighting, because we're not as diverse and we're very predictable. So a lot of the good fighters will end up going both ways anyway, in different directions, to try and confuse their opponent and be able to pull off different techniques. So now when I'm going for the side kick, instead of moving this side, he's coming to the inside. We're going to go diagonally back first, because this is the easier one to deal with, and then we'll focus on the more of the diagonal advancing, which tend to be used by more senior grades. So if I go for the side kick now and he moves off this way, it could even be a little tiny brush potentially. Okay, now I'm in a very compromised position. If I just did a side kick here and just went forward, yeah, I'm open. It's going to be very bad. Let's say I did do that. A good option for you in that position, if I did this, I would just try and peel back to save me some time, and if I can, try and get a nice side kick in there and just get out of there if I can. Okay, but let's say we're not as compromised and we've got a bit better balance. Okay, I go in with the side kick, he moves here. Now I've got the option for the body roundhouse or the high section roundhouse. Okay, we have to be very fast obviously with it, because he could be countering with a roundhouse at the same time as well. But if we know that and that's his go-to counter, we can try and have our hand there ready, so we block this one and we get them with ours. So if I go for the side kick and he went for the round, as he going for the round, I can block and hopefully I get the point with my roundhouse. Yeah, just try and go for the open area. Obviously they might drop the backhand to reach with them with the roundhouse, and then you go for the head instead. But just look where's open and see what you can get. After that as well, obviously you could go into a combination of your choice, depending obviously on your balance and position. You might just want to get out of there. You might want to stay in and have a good blitz and have a little bit of a scrap. That's up to you. Okay. Now let's talk about if he's moving diagonally forwards. Okay. Now this one's very nasty. If I go here now and he catches me a cracker with that rear hand, or even if he goes straight in with a jab, I'm going to get blitzed at this point. So what we're going to try and do, we're really quick, what we might be able to do is fit a roundhouse in. Yeah, so if we're here, I might be able to get a body roundhouse and be able to peel back. Let's say we're not quick enough, okay, or the person's not hesitant at all and they're going straight in and you won't have a chance to fit it in. We're going to go in with our jab. We call it a fly as well, where we move around and we go normally 3 jabs around. You don't have to do 3, you could do 1, you could do 2, go into a different combination, that's fine. But if I'm here, I'm going in for the side kick now, I just get that rear hand there. And as you notice, if he is setting up that back hand, it's going to be very difficult for him to catch me because my shoulder's going to be in the way. He might get over the top a little bit, but hopefully it's going to scuff. And I can come in here, I can go in with a blitz, or I can just go in with my fly. Normally what I tend to do after that fly, or if I did 1 or 2 jabs, I go for the jabs and then I go bang with a nice beast side kick at the end to get him away from me and keep that distance and go back to square one. Okay, so there's a few little options for you there. Hopefully they help with your sparring. I know a lot of us are not going to be sparring for a little while, but you can train these on your bag a little bit with movement, different little things. Just bear in mind, obviously, that your bag normally is static and an opponent is moving. So you can drill the combinations on the spot, but then eventually you will have to do them with movement and a live opponent. Okay, so those are a few combinations. I hope you enjoyed them. Like I said, they've been very successful for us over the years, but you might want to mix them up a little bit and make them your own, add different combinations, just play with them, have a little bit of fun.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for your support. Team GNT, Century, get the code.
Yeah, don't forget to use my code.